Yeah, believe it or not, hurricane season, at least of 2025, it's in the books. It's in the rearview mirror. It's been over a week. It ended with the month of November, but a perfect time to look back at it. How did we do? How did the season play out? That's why we've got, well, the one and only Fox Weather hurricane specialist Bryan Norcross joining us with a recap, with a look at some of the biggest talking points, Bryan. There's a lot of unique things that played out within this season. I guess you could argue as every season, but when it comes to this one in particular, what would you say stands out to you the most? I know that's a pretty broad question.
Well, yeah, but interestingly, the thing that people talk about the most, I think, everywhere I go, is, well, we didn't get hit this year. Like that was some kind of super unusual thing. As a matter of fact, when we look at the map, you can see that the concentration of storms, as we all know, were all offshore. So what happened? We had two things going on. The high pressure system out here that drives these systems and has a circulation like that was a little bit farther east than normal, and the jet stream dip that tends to be over the east coast of the United States or over the Midwest was indeed far enough closer to the east coast, so it kind of pushed everything offshore. So I think that's the biggest, for folks in the U.S., that's the biggest talking point. The only system that made landfall was a relatively minor tropical storm that hit there around Myrtle Beach. That was back in early July, so the peak of the hurricane season had everything offshore. And of course, all that was unusual offshore for a variety of reasons, and it all culminated with what was this incredible hurricane, Melissa. And, you know, we talk about how strong that was, and what was unusual about it was this long duration where it sat at Category 5. And if you look at it, it wasn't totally steady state. You can see that the eye actually does kind of shrink and expand a little bit in those last hours before landfall. Watch it shrink. So we have a couple things going on there. One, just the cycling of the storm. The other is, of course, in Jamaica, you have all those mountains. So that affects the way that the system, the spinning of the system is affected by the way the air flows into it, tends to tighten up as it gets closer. But of course, devastating effects there in Jamaica. A Category 5 storm, of course, but it was Category 5 from 5 a.m. on the 27th to 3 p.m. on the 28th. So above 75 miles per hour for 27 hours. Now, you would say, well, that's just amazing, and it is. It's incredible. But Hurricane Irma in 2017 was actually longer. But if you remember, Irma came from the Atlantic, and so it had all that runway out there before it got to the northeastern Caribbean. Of course, it devastated Barbuda and Antigua and the islands around there. So it had more space to be strong. But still, both of those storms were just very unusual for the Atlantic to have that strong for that long. They looked more like Pacific storms because of that perfect shape. The estimate as of right now, still 185 miles per hour. Hurricane Center is looking into it, all of the data that was collected then and has been collected since, and they'll come up with a final determination. And, you know, I think there's a pretty good chance it's going to be above 185 when they actually get it all the numbers crunched and so forth. But we'll see. Pressure 892, which tied with the Keys hurricane that devastated the Middle Keys back in 1935. And then we had this. There was a lot of talk about this, and I think on almost too much talk about this. The 252 mile per hour verified wind gust measured from a dropson. A dropson is the instrument package that falls out of the airplane, or they push out of the airplane, actually. And it's the highest observed wind gust on record. The other high number was from a typhoon in the Pacific. But the key word here is observed. In these systems, like Irma, like Melissa, like Andrew, like these incredible storms, Michael, Camille, and so forth, there's no doubt that if we had happened to get a dropson into the eye wall, into that strongest thunderstorm core, that's what we would have measured. Huge numbers like that, about 1,000 feet or a little bit less over the water. So the real thing here is that we measured this, and that's great. The better we measure these things, the better we understand them. But I don't want anybody to think that this whole phenomena of having 252-mile-an-hour winds, something near 1,000 feet over the ocean, is some kind of unheard of thing. That's not the case. It just is the fact that in this case, it was actually measured. And the hurricane hunters did a spectacular job of getting an instrument package right down in that very small part of the hurricane. And then we have the models, and the AI models just came to the fore this year. First time out of the gate to be so spectacular. What we're looking at here, the red one, that's the Google model, and the orange, that's the National Hurricane Center official forecast. So you see, the lower the line is on this graph, the better the forecast. So the Google model, a little bit better at most time periods than the National Hurricane Center forecast. Here are the other models that we normally look at up here, and you can see they were inferior. So what is this going to mean for the future? Maybe the Google model gets weighted a little more. On the other hand, it's only one season. How's it going to do next year? Still lots of questions, but this was spectacular. So this is on how accurate the track was. And this was put together by James Franklin, former branch chief at the Hurricane Center, by the way. And thank you to James for compiling this data for us. And then here you see, how about the intensity? How well did it do on strength? Well, you can see the Hurricane Center forecast was a little bit better than the Google model, but still, the Google model was by far the best in the all time periods, except for the very last one here. And this specialized hurricane model from NOAA beat it just a little bit out at 5 days. But still, just a spectacular performance from the brand new AI model, the first year that we've seen it, Marissa. So it was an unusual year on a number of fronts, but as you said, every year is kind of unusual. And I think there are two other things that we haven't talked about really very much. One was, remember what happened in Kerr County, Texas? That had some traces of tropical weather in it. It was this tropical storm Barry that wasn't much of anything, but that moisture went up and contributed to that disaster there in the hill country of Texas. And the other was, remember Irma and Umberto, the folks in North Carolina and along the East Coast can be grateful for Category 5 Umberto that was close enough up here, like record close, to Imelda, and that held Imelda off the coast. So if Umberto hadn't come along, pretty good chance that Imelda as a hurricane would have affected the East Coast. Imelda wasn't the Category 5, obviously, but just one of those things that back-to-back storms, they do impact each other, and these got stunningly close here as the Imelda was approaching the East Coast of the U.S. So funny stuff going on. We also had Aaron. I didn't even think of that. Aaron kind of split the uprights here between Bermuda and the East Coast, so another lucky break there. So some go one way, some go the other, every hurricane season, I guess.
Brian, it makes you wonder if we used up all of our luck in one hurricane season between the United States
Yes.
and Bermuda. It's interesting because when you look at the numbers, it was an average season in terms of numbers, but you just showed us three Category 5 hurricanes, all which rapidly intensified and at a remarkable rate, especially Melissa, but also Aaron as well. But I think when it came to the AI, so intensity forecasts are always a challenge, right? But I thought that was really interesting, and you brought that up too. Not only the first season we've seen artificial intelligence be used so heavily in a forecast, but also when it came to intensity, they did pretty well. And that's generally been one of the harder points to nail down when it comes to these forecasts.
Yeah, the National Hurricane Center discussions that we all read, and we really appreciate the work that they put into providing us their thinking behind the forecast. If you notice, through the season, they increasingly deferred to the Google prediction. Right, just in the beginning, occasionally they would mention it, but then by the end of the year, after seeing how successful it was through the year for Melissa, my mind was a little confused there for a second. During Melissa, they essentially deferred to it. They said, look, it keeps saying this is going to be a Cat 5. It keeps saying that. So we're going to go ahead and forecast this to be a very strong hurricane. And of course, unfortunately, all that turned out to be right.
That's what Alex and I, one of our producers, we were meeting before speaking to you, and that was one of the things we talked about. By the time we got to Hurricane Melissa, we had developed this trust with Google AI, especially because it had performed so well, and I do think, you know, obviously Melissa was catastrophic for Jamaica, but watching not just the intensity potential, but the track and the wavering with that, because that was even a tough one to nail down at first. I think ultimately you could argue it did help spots in the island and hopefully people prepare.
Yeah, the fact that they said way in advance this was going to be a devastating hurricane, I think helped the folks in the government in Jamaica deploy resources that in a different way than they might have otherwise. You know, the difference between well in advance hitting closer to Kingston or over there on the west end of Jamaica, the angles involved are so small that we'll never, well, I never should say never, but, you know, that's a whole different kind of forecast challenge. The forecasts were still actually very, very accurate for Melissa. But when you really zoom in, it's like here in South Florida, you know, are we ever going to be able to forecast whether a storm 2 or 3 days out is going to, the worst of it will hit Miami or Fort Lauderdale? We think of those as being quite a bit of different places, right? But from a hurricane standpoint, the angles involved are very, very small. Same thing with a east to west moving hurricane, whether it's Kingston or the western part of the island. Tiny, tiny angle differences make that much difference in the effect on people and places.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's as precise as it is, it still blows my mind. You're also talking about a basin of water and this little tiny island in this basin and a difference of miles. But the National Hurricane Center did an incredible job working alongside you this hurricane season. And how wild is it, Brian? We have snow falling behind me. But we're talking about it's that end of November. Yes. But what a season it was. We'll see. You know what? Before we think about next season, let's just take a breather and get into the holidays, right?
Right.
Thanks, Brian. Exactly. Appreciate you. All right. Okay.